A few major retailers figure out a creative way to get around the port delays, the shipping problems that they're having. A certain person writes into the New York Times, says that a 40-hour work week for them is going to be unsustainable because they've got a puppy and just can't hack it. And a couple of people in upstate New York figure out a way to monetize goats. Go figure. The theme today, if you're willing to be creative, you win. Buckle up, get ready. This is the Soule of Wisdom. Here we go. Greetings and welcome. This is the Soule of Wisdom. Nice to have you with us here today. I am Dan, and with me, the alluring articulate angel, the God voice, the producer-wife Beth. How are you?
I am well, thank you.
Nice, nice. So listen, here's what you need to do, dear listener. You need to go to soulewisdom.com, S-O-U-L-E wisdom.com. There you will find all of our goodies, and we are proud to announce that officially launched now is our first teachable course. If you go to the Learn tab at the top of soulewisdom.com, you will find a course on how to run a thriving and successful Etsy store. I worked for over 2 months on that thing. It's over 90 lectures strong. It's worth a look. There's some free content. If you've ever thought about doing anything on Etsy, you should go check that out. And then let us know what you think about it. Questions at soulewisdom.com. You can submit your comments on my course there. Producer wife, are you glad I'm done with it finally?
I am.
It only took me ever.
Yeah.
Not even forever, just ever.
Just ever.
Yeah. But I put a lot of heart and soul into it. So please check it out. See what you think. And you see what I did there? Heart and soul.
Yes.
S-O-U-L-E.
Yeah.
We like to play with our last name. Also, Twitter at Soule Wisdom. Feel free to tweet us. That would be fun too. So, for those of you that are watching, for those of you who are on YouTube or Rumble, for those of you who are our visually gifted listeners, you'll probably find that I'm a little shinier today than what I have been in recent episodes. I got my hair did today.
You did?
I did, and I got all 5 of them cut. I'm holding my head down now. You can see just how incredibly bald I've become. But that's okay. So I got all 5 of them cut, and it was only, what, $30?
Yes. Yeah.
Inflation, people.
Yeah.
That's $6 a hair. But I did get all 5 hairs, $6 a hair.
Yes.
Jesus, math is hard. No, but I did get all of them washed, though, too.
Yes.
She did wash it as well.
Yeah.
Which, is good because, at undisclosed age that I am, you can judge by the gray. If you're one of our visually gifted listeners. I'm stumbling today. Did you spike my milk that's in front of you?
No.
I'm talking like I don't know. Okay. Whatever. Enough ramble. The other day we were talking about shipping problems and logistics problems. And would I be underestimating what we were talking about, producer wife, if I were to say it was just a disaster?
It was a dumpster fire for sure.
Dumpster fire. That was the phrase of the day. That's correct. So you have cargo ships backed up and a 2-week delay at the ports on the left coast. You have trucking problems because we are 60,000 truckers short in the United States.
Yep.
We can't get the ships unloaded fast enough to get them on the trucks. If we could get them on the trucks, we don't have enough people to bring stuff. On the outgoing side, we don't have enough truckers to get stuff to the ports, so when these containers are going back out, they're going out empty. It is a mess. So we predicted, and rightfully so, that there was going to be problems with Christmas.
Yeah.
And with stores having full shelves and stuff like that. And apparently the big companies have figured that out as well, and they're trying to figure out a way around it. So, to continue that discussion here on segment number 1, just to add to what we were talking about before, again, on the visually gifted side, you can see this on your screen. Biggest U.S. retailers charter private cargo ships to sail around port delays. Home Depot, Costco, and Walmart resort to private charters to push stock to shelves for holiday shoppers. Something tells me that's pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I guess I can't blame them. I mean, you gotta get the goods there. I think it's sad that we don't have enough that we produce here in the U.S. anymore to actually pull off a holiday shopping season.
Yeah.
But, you know, they still got to make this happen, if for no other reason than their shareholders will probably insist that the entire boards get fired. But, okay. So, article says, global supply chain delays so severe that some of the biggest U.S. retailers have resorted to an extreme and expensive tactic to try to stock the shelves. They're charting their own cargo ships. Port delays, COVID-19 outbreaks, and worker shortages have snarled the flow of products between Asia and North America, threatening... I am stumbling today. Deep breath, okay. Threatening the supplies of everything from holiday decorations and toys to appliances and furniture. It's taking roughly 80 days to transport across the Pacific, twice as long as before the pandemic. Well, that 2 weeks of that is just with the ship standing still now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they still got to pay those sailors on those ships.
Yep.
It's just nuts. Okay, so Walmart, Home Depot, Costco, and down here it says and Target, so 4 of them are among companies, so it applies even more than that, paying for their own chartered ships as a wider plan to mitigate disruptions, and a costly and unattainable option for most companies, you think. So these ships that they're chartering, the biggest shipping company is Maersk. I believe they're Danish.
Yeah.
And they're the ones that just move everything. But in their vessels, this thing says holds like 20,000 containers, and the ones that the stores are hiring hold 1,000.
Yeah.
And it is costing them to bring these 1,000 containers on a ship over $140,000 a day.
That's pricey.
So what did it say? It was taking 40 days?
80.
80. Okay, so at 40, quick math here, producer wife, so 40 times 140,000, that's 5.6 million in transportation costs.
For one ship.
For one ship holding 1,000 containers.
If it only takes 40 days.
If it only takes 40 days. And if once it gets here, by the way, the article went on to say that they're moving it to other ports,
Trying to avoid
like
backup.
Portland, I think was one of them. Yeah. So, or even looking at the possibility of routing to the East Coast, which means it'll take more than 40 days.
Yeah.
Because, you got to go through the canal at that point. But, yeah, that's just... but what I was going to say is even if they get it to the port, then there's still the matter of a shortage of trucking.
Yeah.
To actually get it out to the stores.
Would Walmart just use... They obviously have their own truck drivers.
Yeah, they do. Well, they have their own DCs and their own trucks. I don't know that they own the drivers. I don't know if they contract that out or if they're actually Walmart drivers or if there's a mix. There's probably a mix, I'd imagine. I don't know.
I wonder if they could divert some of that.
Maybe.
Especially for the bigger companies, because obviously they also transport goods between stores and everything else.
Yeah, I mean, I see this as a smart play if they have the money to do it. And again, it's got to be the giants that do this, because at 5.6 million, that's an expensive charter. Not everybody's going to pull that off.
Yeah.
But then I still question, I guess, I think they have to try. But I think the logistics, once the stuff gets here, is still a problem. Because we still don't have enough truckers.
That's why I was speculating if they diverted some of the people they already have.
Yeah. I think they're going to have to. They're going to have the janitors driving trucks at this point.
Yeah.
Good luck, everybody on the highways. Unless they're getting crash courses and running these trucks. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, the logistic issues just right here, you can't count on anything. I mean, we had a customer today who bought from one of our online stores who let us know that their product hasn't arrived yet, and it's been stuck in the system for like 10 days now. And, all we can tell them is, hey, there's just delays everywhere. You just got to ride it out. But it's frustrating. But like I said, though, I guess I give these places credit for at least trying. But the article went on to say, too, let me pull it back up so I'm not completely talking out of my hind end on this. It was these ships will account for under 20% of the warehouse retailers' import volume. They were talking about Costco. And Costco is making 10 deliveries. So they're doing this 10 times. So about 56 million that they're going to spend to get the goods here. And at that, even that extensive of a cost, they're still only going to get a very small percentage of their shelves filled.
Yeah. Well, stuff flies off the shelves in Costco in a day.
No, I know. So, yeah, I mean, that's just a huge expense for, what's really just a drop in the bucket for them. This is going to be a really interesting season. And I can't not believe that expensive of a shipping cost is yet going to be another driver of inflation.
Yep.
I mean,
of course.
Nothing happens in a business, at least if the business is run properly. Nothing happens that doesn't end up in the price of an item.
Yeah.
So, you go to Costco because, you can get the big screen TV 2-pack with the bonus beef jerky and get it at a great price. I don't know if you're going to get it at a great price anymore, and you might not get the beef jerky.
Yeah.
It might just be the 2 big screens now. That's sad because you buy that for the beef jerky.
Did Costco even reinstate their samples after everything?
Well, I don't know because we stopped going to Costco.
That's true.
Yeah, I don't know how it is around you, dear listener, if you have a Costco, but our Costcos were so bad during this lovely pandemic that at times there was like an hour and a half wait just to get in the door.
Yeah.
And we just said, no. Our time is money. We're not going to sit there in line, socially distance with masks on in, 110 degree heat because, we're in Arizona.
Yeah.
So no. So I don't know. I don't know if they did or not. But that was the other attraction. So if they don't have the, if I go to Costco, I want my big screen TV 2-pack with the free beef jerky and I want my samples. If I can't have those things.
I actually saw samples the other day at Fry's.
Oh, there was a sample.
There was a sample lady. And it was the first time I've seen samples anywhere. So it made me curious if Costco's started them back up.
Maybe. Fry's is the Kroger equivalent here in Arizona, by the way. Yeah, maybe they are. I don't know. But yeah, anyways, just quick to button up the topic here a little bit. I give, like I said, I give these places credit for trying, A for effort. I don't know if it's going to work, and it's incredibly expensive. I hope it works for as much money as they're putting into it.
I do too.
But I still stand by what we said at the end of that episode, where we stood by the idea that if you are a small business, this is your time.
Yep.
If if you are nimble, if you have the ability to adapt to the goods that are available, and you can supply people with things quickly, I think your business is going to do really well, because despite these efforts, I think what's going to happen is the shelves are just not going to be stocked well enough. I mean, again, Costco, 20% of what they need is the best they're going to be able to do with these ships. So
they actually have to have the employees to stock the shelves too.
And they have to have the employees, so that's a problem. So, Bob and Betty's local business, I think, is going to be where it's at. So again, if you own a small business, you need to be ready to rock and roll, and I'd get your name out in front of everybody that you can and say, hey, we can get you what you need. We can get you gifts. We can cater your events, whatever it is that you do, and really try to clean up, because once these places run out of stuff,
people are going to stop going there.
Yeah, they're not going to go there. They're going to look for alternatives, and that's when they come running to people like us. I mean, like with our Etsy store or what we do on eBay, things like that. They'll find us. They'll find our website. Same thing for you, dear listener, if you have such a business. So be ready for it. Anyways, we just thought we would share what we found there, just to kind of update the story that we did before. Somewhat good news. Maybe it's going to work. I don't think it's going to completely work, but that's okay, because if you're a small business like us, we're still going to benefit. I believe that with every fiber of my being, or every fiber bean, as one of my kids used to say when they were little. I still don't know what a fiber bean is.
Yeah.
But we'll figure it out. Okie dokie, we have other things to talk about, but we need to go eat a cookie. So you enjoy this music, and we'll be right back.
peace while I'm praying to God. My life's full to change, yeah, I changed a lot. A man with a vision, no longer wishing, just working. My mind is my temple, so I'm always searching for the truth, like a burning bush in the booth. Call me Moshe the Moses for the youth. Your mic is on fire like dry grass, and no truth to catch some flame when you corrupt the youth. Spoken truth speaks through the sages, my DNA.
Featuring some of the finest music that you've probably never heard until this show. This is the Soule of Wisdom. Visit us at soulewisdom.com, S-O-U-L-E, wisdom.com. Questions at soulewisdom.com. Email us, and we might even read your email on a future episode. You never know.
Never know.
Producer-Wife Beth is back.
Yep.
We had cookies, and then we spent about 12 minutes trying to clean ourselves up from it, and whoops, I see another crumb right there. Okay. Cookies are messy. Maybe we shouldn't be doing those during the break anymore.
Maybe not.
But they're good.
They are.
And they make us happy, and then we're like excited to go, do another segment. It's much better than eating like, I don't know, something healthy.
And if you can still find them in your store, those apple cider donut Oreos are actually quite delicious.
Yeah, no, you got to find those apple cider donut Oreos. They're like really good, and I don't usually eat Oreos. So if I'm eating them and I'm getting them all over my shirt, so our visually gifted listeners can see the crumbs on me, then it's worth it.
We were walking through the store, and our son spotted them and freaked out, and so we had to oblige and try them.
Yeah, he like literally freaked out. He started having this weird conniption kind of thing, and
he's like, "Oh, can we get them?"
Yeah, and he was like making a scene. So
yeah. So we're like, okay, just put them in the cart.
Had to do it, yeah. And he's only like almost a teenager now, so.
And almost as big as you.
But he cried like he was like 3 years old. I gotta have the cookies. Give me the cookies. Ah! So we don't normally give into that sort of thing, but when there's a scene,
yeah.
What are you gonna do? They figured us out, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. They dominate the world now.
Yes.
Heaven help us all. Okie dokie. So we'll shift gears a little bit. We don't need to talk about shipping delays anymore.
Or cookies.
Well, we could talk about cookies. You want to just do a segment on cookies?
Maybe in a future episode.
Okay, we could do it like Forrest Gump's friend Bubba. Shrimp salad, shrimp stew, shrimp gumbo. And we could like list out like 100 different kind of cookies that way. That could be fun. If you want that, just send us a message, and we'll see if we can. Yeah, we'll see if we can have that.
We can do like a taste test or something.
Ooh, yeah. So like an audio unboxing almost.
You could compare like store brand to name brand or all sorts of things.
That'd be a boring ass audio podcast.
It would.
I gotta tell you.
Potentially, there's some ASMR in there as we're like chomping along, but that's it.
And here's the lovely vanilla cookie. You're scratching on the mic.
Right?
Yeah, just like that. That'd be funny. Okie dokie. Onward and upward, as they say. Let's pull up a fun little thing. I actually found this on Twitter, of all places. I got pushed this morning. And once I was done rolling my eyes and gasping audibly, I decided this would be something worth talking about. So this is from the New York Times. This is one of those write into the New York Times and we'll, say fun things about what you said, or we'll answer your question, or we'll make fun of you, or whatever it is they do there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyways, title of this 40-hour work week is, in fact, life. You think?
Yeah.
Well, thank heavens they figured that out. So, Britt from Indianapolis wrote into the New York Times and said, I am 27. In the last year, I landed my dream job. My job has purpose. My skills and qualifications are used and challenged. My coworkers and supervisors are unparalleled, but alas, 40 hours a week is not sustainable. I have hobbies. I have creative pursuits and therapy and laundry. And I own a small dog. So I am busy. My partner and I are considering starting a family in a few years. Because I already feel like there is not enough time in the week, I wonder what getting away from the 40-hour work week looks like. I have considered self-employment, trying out artistic lifestyle, going back to academia, mildly rejecting capitalism, but maybe I should just get over it? Thoughts? Again, that was Britt from Indianapolis. hold comment on that, because I don't know about you, but I have a lot.
There's a lot of things to say.
Oh, good heavens, there's a lot of things. So the Roxanne Gay, who answers this column, writes, at 46, and as the workaholic daughter of immigrants with an intense work ethic, I'm inclined to tell you that this is life. You have to get over it and find a way to balance your professional and personal lives. For many people, only having a 40-hour work week only having to work 40 hours a week, at one job would be a dream. It's important to acknowledge that, but we do live in a country obsessed with work, to the detriment of our collective well-being. Hold that thought, too. You ask an important question, and one many of us struggle with. Is this all there is? Are our lives destined to be consumed by work? It is kind of maddening. Work is a means to an end. If you're lucky, you'll enjoy what you do and thrive professionally, but we're not working for fun. We're working in a capitalist society that demands our participation. Many European countries model more reasonable work-life balance. In July, Iceland shared the results of a 4-day work-week trial that showed great results. So there are alternatives to working a 40-hour week. You should know that most of the other options you list are more demanding than you might think. Academia is demanding. You just have more control over where you spend your time when you're not in the classroom, though that is if you're one of the very few academics who gets tenure. As an adjunct, you do essentially the same job for a fraction of the compensation. I don't want to discourage you, but there is no magical way to earn a full-time salary without working full-time. You have to decide what your priorities are and what you're willing to do to nurture those priorities. If you want to pursue an artist's life or reject capitalism, how will you pay for housing, food, and health insurance? What are you willing to forego to have a more fulfilling life? That is the question. It's an unfair choice until we as a culture decide there is indeed more to life than work. Okay. Full disclosure, straight away, I like work.
Yes. That is very true.
I believe work can define you. I believe work can sustain you. I'm going to be real controversial here and say that for a male in our society, you need work. Work is what you are built to do, in my humble opinion. Work is what keeps you from doing caveman stupid things.
Hunter-gatherer.
Yes, hunter-gatherer kind of things. It grounds you. It gives you purpose. There is something to that. This kind of thinking that Britt from Indianapolis presented us with frustrates the you-know-what out of me, because we are losing sight of the idea that this country became as great as it still is, or at least trying to still be, hopefully, maybe, because it was built on the back of hard work, hard-working people.
Yeah.
You don't get to be the greatest thing on the planet by sitting around.
No.
And they talk about Iceland and the 4-day work week. The author at the Times brought that up.
Though Iceland doesn't have a whole lot of Elon Musks running around who work like 100 hours a week.
No,
there's a reason Elon has as much money as he does, and that's because he works way more than 40 hours a week.
Yeah. What's Iceland doing? Okay, they're a small country. They've got a fraction of the people that we do. They mine stuff, and they have some tourism, and I believe they've got like some server farms there or something, if I recall correctly. But that's about it.
I think they have some animals too. I think they have some animal farms.
That could be. But I mean, there's not a lot going on there, and that's fine. It's a little place. And what so many don't understand is that these schemes of working less and sharing more and quasi-socialism kind of things and stuff, they work in smaller groups. Go to the Scandinavian countries, they thrive on that. But they're small, and they're also this kind of homogenous culture. They're not...
They've also historically been very closed off to things like immigration.
Yeah. Well, that's just it. They've maintained their culture, so as a country, they can kind of build in this one direction. We're a melting pot of so much that idea doesn't work here. But more disturbing for me is the fact that this person who wrote in kind of represents what's going on with so much of, especially the youth, where they don't seem to have a value placed on the idea of work. But work gives you purpose, like I said, and it gives you meaning, and it gives you a sense of accomplishment that, I'm sorry, sitting around, walking your dog and doing your laundry, and you've got to go do all these things because you've got hobbies. Well, those are not as fulfilling as I got a job done and I made good money doing it,
and I'm putting food on the table.
Yeah, and I'm putting food on the table.
For somebody who wants to start a family, I feel like that's an important step.
Well, yeah, that's just it. It's talking about starting a family too. Well, we want to have a family. Well, then you better go work.
You need to be able to feed your family.
Yeah. And if you're not working, even at the very least, exactly tell me what kind of example do you end up setting for that child that you're bringing up. We work from home, okay? This is not a secret at this point. Everything we do is here. Our businesses are run here and everything, but we work far longer than 40 hours. I chuckled when I don't know if it's a he or a she, but the person writes, yeah, and I thought about, doing my own thing, working for myself. Like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You're not committing to 80 hours a week.
Yeah, that requires much more than 40.
Yeah. No, we work all the time. But anyways, what I was going to say was our son sees that, and he sees how hard we work, and he's getting a sense that things aren't just handed to you. Yeah. If you want something, you have to go get it. You have to work hard for it. You can't just go, well, I'm going to do the bare minimum because I want to go play Frisbee 5 times a week. Well, you need to play Frisbee on your day off, and you need to go work really hard on the days where you are working.
Yeah.
And then it frustrated me, too, when the author who's writing back was talking about, how'd she put it? Let me find this here.
Her almost disenfranchised comment?
Yeah.
It wasn't worded that way, though.
No, I can't find it. Where did it go? Awkward pause during podcast.
It was toward the end of what you read.
Oh, there it is. See, when you don't scroll down enough.
That's why I said it was toward the end. I was hoping.
I thought it was at the end.
Oh, okay.
But no, there's more of an end to it. Yeah, the question is, it's an unfair choice until we as a culture decide there is indeed more to life than work. I would argue as Americans, we already figured that out. We have worked as hard as have for generations now because we were building a great country, and that was the more.
Yeah.
We worked for this thing that was more. The work got us to what was more. They're trying to work this from the reverse. That we can go do the more, but we don't have to put the work in.
Yeah.
Huh? It's kind of like the person who wants to go to be a computer programmer and write some kind of cool game for the PlayStation or something, but they don't learn how to program.
Yeah.
You gotta put in the time. You gotta put in the work. You can't be a doctor without going to medical school.
Well,
we need truck drivers. Go learn how to drive a truck, but you can't drive a truck if you don't go learn how to do it. You got to put in the time. You got to put the effort.
There's a little bit of a culture problem here too, because even in this article, the person talks about how she was the author, that she was a child of immigrants and that they've always worked very hard. So she's implying that she has a hard work ethic and telling the person writing in that they have to just deal with it. But she's also saying that it's an unfair choice. Well, not really. If you're making the choice to support your family, and there comes a point where you have to learn to be happy and content with the choices that you've made, because otherwise you're just going to be miserable. in every aspect of your life. And if you choose to be happy with the fact that you're going to work and you're supporting your family, it's going to make it a lot more tolerable.
Breaking news alert. Oh, wow. This just came in off the website here. One of the news sites. Dateline, October 11. Life is not fair. Huh. Okay. But yeah, I don't know.
You can find a lot of peace and solace, though, by just accepting your situation. Because a lot of times you can work it up in your own brain to make it feel worse than it really is. And it sounds like the person writing in was doing this because she acknowledged, I'm guessing it's a she, they acknowledged that they got their dream job. Well, be happy you got your dream job.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people out there who have not. So you're already a leg up. Be happy. She said she liked her coworkers. They said they liked their coworkers, their boss. Be happy.
I know.
There's a lot of positive there.
Yeah. See podcast episode 2, where we talked in part about figuring out what you want to be about versus what you want to be, and how you need to define what it is that defines you beyond just the work that you do. And that may sound weird because I'm talking about how work is valuable. Work is valuable, and you need to do it, and you need to do a lot of it. But it doesn't have to define you. It's the other things that can define you. This sounds like a person who hasn't figured out what defines them, in part.
And you can get a lot done during the day if you really prioritize your time. I mean, when we worked together in retail before, neither one of us worked a 40-hour week then either.
No.
And I still got a ton of things done. Back then I had a dog, and I would go home and take care of the dog, and you can work that stuff out. It's not impossible to do. You can still have a very fulfilling, balanced life. And a lot of people the author also implied this, a lot of people who have these type of jobs also have other jobs. So there's plenty of people out there who are not only just working a 40-hour work week, but gig work on the side or whatever. And I guarantee they're still participating in hobbies and doing things and having fun and time management.
Yeah, this particular person, and I feel like so many, they need to extract head from rear end, I guess. I hate to put it that way, but I don't know a better way to put it. You gotta line up your priorities. You gotta figure out what's important. And if we can't work a 40-hour week because we have hobbies and a dog, there's something broken in you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
again, like I said, even if it's just a time management problem,
I mean,
or a being happy and accepting what you have problem.
Yeah. We could have it a lot harder than we have it now. Funny Family Guy episode from last year, if you'll recall, they did this little clip where these dudes back in like the 20s or something like that were digging the tunnels for the subway in New York. Mm-hmm. And the foreman's like, all right, here's the plans. Let's go to it. We got a week to do this. Now let's go in there, dig this tunnel, and die. And they're all like, yeah, let's go. But it was a funny way to kind of highlight the fact that, the people who built this place that we now take advantage of, they worked and often died doing it.
My great grandma on my mom's side, her husband actually died in a coal incident. And at that time, my grandma was a baby. And so she wound up getting remarried eventually. But yeah, it was just a freak accident, and he and a couple other people died. And stuff happens. That's definitely worse work environments than we have now.
There are dozens of people across the United States who are permanently entombed in concrete piers that were poured for bridges.
Yeah. Where
they slipped and fell into them, and there ain't no getting them out, and they're still there. But, that's work, that's sacrifice, that's building for something. Everything is just so cushy now. There's just there's no appreciation for just how good you've got it. and a 40-hour work week, trying to balance that with a dog and some hobbies and your significant other, that's a pretty doggone good life. And quite honestly, 99% of the world would trade what they have to come here and do just that.
Yep.
So I think we need to get better at appreciating it. Anyways, I think that I've made my point there. So I think we need some milk now to go with the cookies that we had earlier.
Yeah.
So we're going to drink that milk, and we're going to come back and talk about something just a little bit different yet again. Be right back here at the Soul of Wisdom.
No, we don't stop. We don't stop. No, we don't stop. No, we don't stop. Yeah, we don't stop. No, we don't. I've been drifting for the longest time, and I know the clock keeps ticking. It is always running. Living in the sky, into the wild. Christopher McCandless with a blank canvas. Everybody anxious, let that stress vanish. Candlelit dinner with my soul, I'm famished. Gonna clear my plate, gonna celebrate.
Welcome back to this final segment of the day at Soul of Wisdom, soulwisdom.com. Questions at soulwisdom.com. Email us at soulwisdom. This final segment of the show today brought to you by this 3/4 drank glass of silk oat milk.
Yes.
Silk oat milk, the finest milk you can get, made from oats.
Sounded like you said silk goat milk, which is kind of funny leading into the next segment.
Well, no, yeah.
But I don't think they make goat milk.
No, they don't. So yeah, there's something coming there. But no, my only question was exactly how do they get those little oats still enough to milk them? That's what I was still trying to figure out. And it's got to be such a finite amount of milk that they get out of it, too.
Well, yeah, milking almonds can't be easy either.
Yeah, that's true. They milk almonds, and those suckers are dry as a bone.
Yeah.
So it's dedication right there, baby. That's why it's so expensive. It takes like 10 million almonds to get like a half a cup of milk.
Well, have you seen, I think it's Blue Diamond now has some banana milk. I don't know if you've seen that in the store, and
Didn't we get one once to try?
We talked about it, but it was like $7.
Oh,
so
that's
it was
right.
crazy expensive. But yeah, I'm not sure how you milk a banana either.
I could see milking a banana over milking an almond. At least you could, But don't they just like puree the crap out of almonds over like some water or something,
Yeah.
and that's what they call the milk?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they strain it.
Yeah.
There's
So
a process.
It's not milk, it's almond water.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably the same thing with this oat milk. Though I still like the visual of them trying to actually take the little oat. And squeeze it and just get the little drip out. And then, you do that like 10 million times, and then you have your half a gallon of oat milk.
Quite tedious. It's amazing it's not more expensive.
That's fair. So during the break, I learned something that I did not know thanks to the God voice of the producer wife. She told me that 2 million California residents live within 2,500 feet of an oil refinery. I had no idea they were making so much energy out there, especially when they don't want to do that, because they're all about the solar and the
Don't they
and the
also
wind.
buy a lot of energy from Arizona? From
Oh
our
yeah,
state?
no, we're selling them energy like crazy. Like half of our energy gets sent over there because they don't have enough.
And they still had rolling blackouts.
They still have rolling blackouts. But yeah, I didn't know that. Did you know that, dear listener? They have so many oil refineries and everything else that they're like everywhere. She showed me a picture where there's like this residential neighborhood, and you've got like house, big honkin' oil refinery, house, like all butted up against each other.
Like if you were driving down a subdivision, it's just on a road. It looked like a normal subdivision, except there's oil refinery right next to a house.
Yeah.
Like right on the other side of a fence.
Can you imagine the insurance bill on the house that's right next door to that behemoth?
Can you imagine the smell? I mean, we've driven through places that do such things, and it doesn't smell great.
Well,
And it's not it's not healthy for the residents. There's no way it's healthy for the residents.
we live fairly rural, and we get a lot of farm smell, and that's bad enough.
Yeah.
I can't imagine 24/7 oil and natural gas smell.
Yeah, we get the smell of horses, chickens.
Yeah, there's a big chicken farm to the west of us. We're downwind. Gets a little rank some days.
We're close to some cow farm too, aren't we?
Yep.
Yeah.
But the farm to the south of us is going to be subdivision soon.
Yeah.
So we have that. Okie dokie. So enough banter. We're bantering a lot today, but we're having fun, and hopefully you're having fun too. If you're not having fun right now, I mean, really having fun, you should still keep listening to us, because we need that sweet listen time so other people continue to find us. So do not click away from the show ever. All right, so the producer wife brought an article, language, Daniel, brought an article to my attention that's kind of neat. And it switches gears a little bit. In the last segment, we talked about lazy.
Yeah.
All right, this is a story of people who figured out a way to make stuff work. Now, the article is entitled Why Natural Beauty Beekman 1802 Turned to Snapchat to Introduce Its Skin Kindness brand at Ulta. I don't think we're going to talk about the Snapchat part of it.
That wasn't the part that I thought was cool.
Yeah, what's more interesting is the story behind this business, not where they decided to make a Snapchat account.
Yeah.
But article says Indie Beauty Beekman 1802 has always been a special brand founded by married partners Brent Ridge and Josh Kilmer Purcell. It came about by accident. After buying an upstate farm in New York as a weekend getaway in 2007, they simultaneously found themselves out of high-paying city jobs due to the recession. That happened to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, that was about the time that we moved to Arizona.
Yep.
And we left behind careers back in the Midwest,
Yep.
came out here only to find that the cupboard was bare.
Yep.
So, but we're resourceful, just like these people were. So, retreating to the farm to ponder next steps, they were called on by neighbor John Hall, whose herd of 80 goats lost their home. Now, the article doesn't say why the herd of 80 goats lost their home. I don't know if John lost his farm.
Yeah, it implied to me that farm may have been repoed by the bank or something.
Yeah, that was kind of, or the vig on the goats was due and he was trying to hide them. I mean, I don't know. Who knows? But anyways, as an act of neighborly kindness, they invited Farmer John and his goats in, and the rest is history. They didn't even know beauty would be their next calling, but with a herd of goats on hand, they started there. We just Googled what we can make with goat milk, Dr. Ridge says. They discovered that goat milk is a healing balm for sensitive skin proven over centuries of use. They also found there wasn't a lot of competition in goat milk soap. While it was a fixture at the farmers markets for small makers, there was little available to a wider audience due to supply constraints. So the article goes on and on to say how they were featured on Martha Stewart. They had like this show on Shop EQ, all sorts of stuff. But basically, they found themselves with a bunch of goats. And what do we do with them? And oh, by the way, we're out of a job. And oh, by the way, we just bought this farm. And oh, by the way, we probably can't afford it.
Yeah.
What would 99% of the population do in that instance?
Well, they probably wouldn't help the neighbor by taking the goats, and it sounded like the way the sentence was worded that they took in the neighbor too.
Yeah. No, 99% of the population would be like that dude from Aliens who was always freaking out. The one like wussy kind of soldier. He'd be like, "It's game over, man. It's game over."
Yeah.
And just like give up and, hand over the deed to the farm and, go live out of their cars for a while or something. But no, these guys figured out, a way to make it work. We've got a farm, we've got goats. Let's see what we can do. So they did some old-fashioned research.
Yeah.
And came up with an idea and then did some old-fashioned marketing for said.
Yeah.
And grew it and grew it and grew it. And now they're like available nationwide.
Yeah. Through a major beauty retailer.
And just in case you're curious with the Snapchat thing, their display at major beauty retailer has one of the little Snapchat QR codes on it, and you can scan the QR code, and then you can watch a goat like march through the aisles of an Ulta or something like that. So that's what it does. So I mean, whatever, it's cute, and I'm sure people enjoy that.
Yeah.
But I just give them credit for trying. And I appreciate that story because it was a similar thing here. When we came out to Arizona, we had a plan, and the plan didn't work.
Yeah, we didn't get goats, though.
But we didn't get goats. Maybe we should have got goats.
Maybe.
I don't know. But, we just started working for ourselves. Like, if the jobs aren't there, if things aren't the way that we expected them to be, then we'll just figure it out.
Yeah.
And we figured it out. So we did all sorts of things to start with, but in the end, we just kept working at it, and then we created more and more things, and now here we are talking to you and sharing our experiences.
They had such a unique set of circumstances, but if you really think about it, everybody has a unique set of circumstances that makes them stand out, so to speak, from the rest of the population, because you had woodworking background, and for the longest time we weren't sure if we could do anything with it, and eventually I came up with a harebrained idea to do woodworking with jewelry, but that was taking our unique set of circumstances and trying to figure out a way to apply it. But the listeners might, have artistic backgrounds or business acumen or, something else that makes you stand out.
Yeah, there's always something. There's always something that you can contribute. There's always a way to make something work. You've got to be creative about it.
Yeah.
This dovetails into so much of what we've talked about today, and what we've talked about on really all of the episodes so far, is that there's a need to have some creativity, some self-determination, some belief in yourself, some risk-taking.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people in that circumstance might have even come up with the idea, let's say, but then said, it's just too risky, we really don't have anything to work with, and I don't know. But what's the worst that can happen at this point? You don't have jobs, you got a farm you got to pay for.
They could drain their savings. That would be like the worst case situation.
Well, you know what? Yeah, it's going to happen anyways.
Yeah.
Even if they didn't take the risk, if they're out of work and they've got this brand new farm, they're going to drain it as long as they can until that runs out, and then they're going to lose the farm.
Yeah.
So, but they decided that they would, give this thing a try, and what have they got to lose? It's that what have they got to lose kind of attitude that, again, is kind of foundational to how this country was made and why it's so special. It's built off the backs of risk-taking as well.
Yep.
So give something a try, and again, what's the worst that can happen? What was the old thing, like Edison figured out 1,000 ways, failed like 1,000 times before he came up with a light bulb that worked.
Yep.
And his statement was, I figured out 1,000 ways not to make a light bulb.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
But, you try things. You keep trying and trying and trying until something works. These guys, it worked great. I think that's super cool.
Yeah. I thought it was an inspiring story.
No, it is, because they built it out of nothing, out of, arguably out of desperation. But good for them for looking around and saying, what have we got to work with?
Yeah.
It kind of the same, again, back to your point, kind of the same thing as what we did. But we looked at what skills we had to work with. We knew we were good at business. We knew we could market. We knew I had the woodworking skills, but prior to that, I'd always made furniture. And Beth was always kind of pestering me to do something with that skill, but my argument always was like, we can't make furniture and sell it because it takes so much space and so much in raw materials, and then you're waiting for that just right buyer for that piece, and you could just sit on stuff forever, and the next thing you know, you got a garage full of desks that you can't sell or something.
Yeah.
But then she came up with the jewelry idea where it's just small, and we carry like zero inventory practically to make that happen. It's so small and doesn't take up any more space than what the shop in our garage takes, and we make money hand over fist.
It was perfect.
It was perfect.
Perfect fit.
Well, yeah, because it was brought to me by a perfect person.
Aw. I'm definitely not perfect.
Close enough. But no, take some inspiration from what those people did, from finding a way to get something done, because that's the kind of thinking, that's the kind of entrepreneurship, the risk-taking that's going to get us through these times that I still believe are going to be incredibly, incredibly challenging. This is an interesting economy that we've got going on. This is an interesting world, and those who work the hardest, those who try the hardest, those who take the risks will be the ones that come out on top. And if we haven't made that clear in previous segments of this show and others, we'll continue to pound on that idea, because I think it's foundational to pretty much everybody at this point, and whether or not you're going to live a good life or a not as good one. Would
Yeah.
you disagree?
No, I do not disagree.
Good. And hopefully, dear listener, you agree as well. Any final parting thoughts, producer wife?
I am actually pretty thought out.
You're thought out.
Yes.
Well, that doesn't bode well for the rest of the day. I guess we're going to go vegetate now. So we'll do that. You get on with your day, dear listener. It was a pleasure having you here. Again, please visit us online, soulofwisdom.com. As a reminder, we did launch our first Teachable. Please give that a look. You can find it under the Learn tab at soulofwisdom.com. Visit us there. Check out what we've got. We look forward to talking to you again soon. See ya.